How do you know that a relationship does not have a future? I know we all hope that people will just come out and tell us, hey, this relationship, even though we're in love, I only see us as short term. But that's not how everyone communicates. Everyone is not as transparent as that. I'm going to give you three things that you can look for to determine whether or not a relationship has a future. But I want to hear what you think in the comments below. Number one, if there is an issue with accountability, your relationship or that relationship does not have a future. You can be in love, there can be butterflies, there can be chemistry, you can have good vibes and good times, but if there is no accountability, there's going to be issues with communication. If there's issues with communication, there's going to be issues with transparency. If there's issues with transparency, it's going to be very difficult for you to experience a place where you can feel safe to feel vulnerable. And if you can't feel comfortable and feel safe being vulnerable, you're not going to be able to get into that intimacy. And if you're trying to build a genuine relationship based on trust, you want to get all the way to that stage of intimacy: mental intimacy, emotional intimacy, spiritual intimacy, physical intimacy. You want to get to that place where you feel actuated and you feel fulfilled as a human being in that relationship, where you feel validated, where you feel strong, where you feel powerful, where you feel attractive. You want to get to that place of intimacy. Some people live their entire lives and they never get to that level, but that's not our goal. We're building relationships based on genuine trust, and our goal is to get to that level of intimacy. So if you don't have accountability or there's an issue with accountability in that relationship is not going to have a future. The second thing that you can look for: communication. If there is an issue, an unresolved issue with communication where you're not communicating clearly, or your partner is not communicating clearly, and they refuse to develop communication skills that are going to be effective in their relationship, then that relationship, because it has communication issues, is not going to have a future. Now, what you may be thinking, okay, what do you mean by communication? I'm very good at explaining my perspective. It's important to learn how to clearly explain your perspective in a way that it doesn't feel like you're attacking your partner. But there's another piece to communication, which is you being able to provide an opportunity for your partner to share what is on their mind and what they're feeling about their relationship and where they are in their relationship. You're building a relationship based on genuine trust. We have to be able to communicate as a couple. You have to be able to communicate as an individual, and and that level of communication is supposed to open up the door to intimacy later on. So if you have an issue with communication, your relationship is not going to have a future. The last thing to look for is vulnerability. If your relationship, and there's a lot of different things I can mention, but the last one I'm going to cover today is vulnerability. If your relationship doesn't have a safe space for you or your partner, your man, to feel vulnerable and to experience that level of vulnerability in their relationship in a safe way, then your relationship is not going to have a future. And I'll explain why. Since we're building relationships based on genuine trust, our goal is to get to intimacy. And if we can't feel safe in a relationship to feel vulnerable, either emotionally vulnerable or physically vulnerable, like there are some people out there who believe men should be strong all the time. And so your man may put off this air and they may act strong all the time around you, but there's some times when your man is not feeling strong. There's some times when your man is feeling insecure. There's sometimes when your man is feeling tired or exhausted. And if you don't give him space to be a human being and to be vulnerable sometimes, I'm not saying just be weak all the time, but 10% of the time is not bad. That's still an A. So it's important for you to give space for your man to be vulnerable. Don't baby him, right? Don't treat him in such a way where you act as if, or you make him feel as if you think he's weak because he's vulnerable. You want to make sure that he feels strong even though he is expressing some vulnerability. So creating a safe space for him to feel vulnerable, or creating a safe space for you to be vulnerable, it allows you to reach a level of intimacy in a relationship, which is what we're all looking for. So if you don't have that place in your relationship, if it's not in the bedroom, if it's not somewhere in the home, if it's not somewhere outside or at some place where you all meet or you all date, if your relationship does not have a safe space for you to be vulnerable, that relationship does not have a future. And you can ask um, ask your friends who are in relationships and validate that and really ask them like, hey, do you feel vulnerable or do you feel comfortable being vulnerable around your partner? Do you feel comfortable being comfortable? Do you feel comfortable being vulnerable around your man or your woman? And if the answer to that question is yes, then there's a good chance that relationship has a future. If the answer is no, it doesn't have a future. And it needs to be worked on in order for it to survive. Those are my thoughts. I'm interested in hearing what you have to say in the comments below. Um, what do you think are the signs that you should look for to determine whether or not a relationship has a future?